the continued rumor mill, I think, of what is going on when it comes to the U.S. men's national team, right?
Yes. Reports in the last few days that Jesse Marsch has emerged as the frontrunner to be the next U.S. men's national team coach. Some places even suggesting it's a foregone conclusion that he'll get the job. What do you make of it?
I think that there is, well, first off, I think there's absolutely fire where there is smoke, and this is some smoke. We've already talked about the connection that Jesse Marsch has with Matt Crocker, the new sporting director over there, and at a certain point we talked about how he even wanted to hire him over there in the EPO when he was working, and so there is I think a respect and, like I said, a connection. This should not come as any surprise. This is not only a high-profile coach that is out there, but obviously his American connection makes him incredibly appetizing, I would think, in this moment, and that he is available makes him that much more attractive. There are certainly detractors out there when it comes to Jesse Marsch, and they will lob criticisms, some fair, some not, whether it's his style of play, whether it's his track record in terms of his success, or whether it is not aiming high enough. And really what that comes down to is not big enough of a profile coming up to 2026. But ultimately, if this happens, as I said, I think that there is some fatigue out there, and I raise my hand and claim plenty of it, in that I just want a warm body, honestly. Yes, I want a good coach for this team, and yes, 2026 is paramount and maybe that much more important to make sure you get this right, but every day is another day wasted. However, when it's Jesse Marsch or whoever this summer who gets named, we will go on and we will, I think, forget very quickly about this wasted time. The interesting thing is, if Jesse Marsch doesn't start until after the Gold Cup, that to me is insane. If it's Jesse Marsch, then don't mess around. Name him as the coach, get him in, start him right now, and hit the ground running. And it doesn't, if you suck in your first couple of weeks, or if it doesn't go well in the Gold Cup or something like that, we'll scream and yell to a certain extent. But there's the recognition that this is who the guy is going forward. You don't have to qualify for the World Cup. So I think that's where I am right now. Whether it's Jesse Marsch or anybody else, I don't care. Just name somebody.
Gauging the reaction on Twitter, Jesse's approval rating seems to have gone down with U.S. fans. At one point, he was the guy that the Never Berhalters were pining for, and now a lot of people seem underwhelmed by this choice. Why do you think that's happened?
I think that there are many that like to, look, well, first off, and which is fair, look at his record and look at his, I guess, at times spotty and lack of success that he has, or consistent success. And again, I think a lot of it goes back to the thought that there was going to be a Mourinho-esque type of appointment. And Jesse is not, nor who knows when he would be considered in that vein. And absolutely, the fact that he's American plays in a strange way to some, not to everybody, but to some against him and what's going on. Also, if this turns out to be true, all right, don't think for a second that this isn't part of the old boy network. Jesse Marsch is as much a part of American soccer as anybody else, and certainly as Greg Berhalter. Jesse Marsch has worked at the Federation before. Jesse Marsch is of American soccer. He was born through it. He came up through the ranks, whether it's playing youth soccer, whether it's playing high school soccer, whether it's playing college soccer, going on to play in Major League Soccer, and then obviously that pathway that he very smartly recognized and focused when it comes to Red Bull. He has plenty of connections. He has plenty of history. He has plenty of baggage out there when it comes to his past in the game. And again, I don't care. I just want a good coach. He is a good coach. He is a warm body right now, and we need to get to work. And if it's Jesse, fine. But I don't understand, if it is Jesse, why they are thinking of waiting until later in the summer. Maybe they have good and legitimate reasons.
To be fair, it's not just people on Twitter. I've heard the likes of Taylor Twellman and Hercules Gomez say that hosting a World Cup is such a unique opportunity, especially with this generation of players, and that it called for U.S. soccer to reach out to a Mourinho or a Carlo Ancelotti. Worst thing, they say no, and then you can circle back to a Jesse Marsch. But people wanted U.S. soccer to take a bigger swing and try for a more ambitious hire.
Okay.
And so there is this perception that, once again, they did not cast a wide net, did not undertake an exhaustive search. They just sort of focused on one guy who's pretty good, but a guy you could always get, and that's who they're going to hire.
So why is Jose Mourinho better than Jesse Marsch?
No. Listen, we don't have to go down this
okay,
rabbit hole.
but
we know you think the way people judge coaches around the world is filled with biases, and you reject sort of the premise that some big name foreigner that's coached all these top European clubs is better than Jesse Marsch or more equipped for the U.S. men's national team. But you would agree, perception-wise,
absolutely,
Mourinho feels like a more ambitious hire.
It's sexy, it's big name. By the way, it would also cost, and so there is an economic part of this equation. And I'm not saying that, again, that relationship with Matt Crocker, if he believes that this is it, and this is going to happen, all the screaming and yelling about the process and whether it was fair. Okay, well, this is yet another person that is part of the system, if you will. And again, I have no problem with it because I think Jesse Marsch is a great coach, but also, I think Greg Berhalter's a great coach. I think Jim Curtin's a great coach. I think Patrick Vieira's a great coach. All of these types of coaches, and it is a great opportunity. Jesse Marsch is available, and I think that this certainly, like many coaches, and in particular American coaches, this has to be a dream, and maybe a dream come true, especially as you mentioned with 2026. So if this is to be great, I just think it should be now, as opposed to waiting.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.